Hi, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jonathan, and in today's video we are going to be looking at the latest version of Olight's best-selling flashlight. This is the Baton 3 with its unique charging case.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Okay, let's have a look at what comes in the box. The box is really well made and substantial and is presented really well. Then we have the light itself in the charging case. First impressions are really good. It feels really solid in the hand. This particular version is a limited edition finish. It comes with a night sky effect on the charging case with the kind of stars on it. Inside, the flashlight has a graduated purple and blue color scheme, which looks really nice, and it feels really nice in the hand. Other color options are red, also orange, and also plain black. Also in the box we have some accessories and some nice touches like thank you when you remove everything from the box. There's also some information on the back about the flashlight itself and some battery life information, etc. In this box we get a microfiber cleaning cloth, which is a nice touch, and also we have a USB-A to USB-C charging cable. Now normally the Olight flashlights of today come with a magnetic charging cable, but this one is different because we have a charging case. Then we have some detailed instructions and some safety information and so on. So this is what we're left with. Let's have a close look at the flashlight and the charging case. In here we obviously have the battery in the charging case and the flashlight itself. Lift the lid, which is held shut with magnets. Again, a really nice feel to it. And then the flashlight itself is held in with a magnet. So if you were to turn it upside down, it's not going to come out. So it all feels really nice. There's a sticker here that makes the point that this charging case will charge this flashlight 3.7 times. As you can see, this is a compact flashlight. It's not as small as some of the, say, Rovivon very small finger-like flashlights. This is a little bit more heavy duty, as you can see. So this is a flashlight a lot of people EDC, and you can easily see why. From a weight and size perspective, it's very portable, but in terms of brightness and usability, it's super practical as well. So it kind of ticks all the boxes in that respect. The clip on the Baton 3 is particularly practical. It can be clipped on a belt or on a baseball cap and be used as a head torch, and that's one of the things that makes this so useful. And that's not going anywhere because the knurling here creates friction, which means it doesn't move at all until you deliberately move it. It can be put in a pocket like that for relatively deep carry. You can basically just clip it to a baseball hat and have it like that as a head torch. Clearly, if it was much longer, it wouldn't fit on the brim of a baseball cap. That's one of the benefits of the dimensions of this flashlight. So the more I play with it, the more I realize how well thought out this design is. In terms of weight, the flashlight itself weighs 53 grams and the charging case weighs 114 grams. When you look at the battery this flashlight uses, it's a custom-made 16340 550 milliamp hour battery. To compare that with some other standard flashlight batteries, this is an 18650 battery and this is a 21700 battery. This is 3,500 milliamp hour. This one here is 5,000 milliamp hour. And this one is 550 milliamp hour. So a lot smaller than some of the bigger flashlights, but when you use a battery this size, it means the flashlight can be small as well and compact and lightweight, or perfect for EDC. The only drawback obviously with this is that with a smaller battery and a smaller capacity, then you get shorter battery life and or less power. However, when you build in the flexibility of the charging case, where in here you have actually got an 18650 battery to charge this, then you start to get the best of both worlds. You have the capacity of a larger battery and you have the size benefits of a smaller battery in the flashlight itself. So when it comes to the dimensions, the length on the Baton 3 is 63 millimeters and the diameter throughout the length of the flashlight is 21 millimeters. In terms of water resistance, it is rated as IPX8, and an IPX8 is as good as you could possibly expect for a flashlight like this. It means it can be submerged for a prolonged period of time. So this is effectively a fully waterproofed flashlight, and that's helped by the fact that there's no charging socket on here. It uses the magnetic charging base that you see on most Olights now. Ordinarily you'd have a tail cap charger, but because this comes with the charging case, connections in the base of the charging case are magnetic, and that holds it in, maintains a really strong connection and removes the need for a charging cap. However, if you already have some Olight flashlights and you already have the charging cap, then you can use it with this as well. And if you just buy the Baton 3 without the charging case, then you get a charging cap with it. So the Baton 3 was introduced around April 2021 and it replaced its predecessor, which was the S1R Baton II. And the difference between the 2 and the 3 are primarily the increase in maximum brightness from 1000 lumens to 1200 lumens, and also the battery life. And that's the key difference. The battery life on the Baton 3 almost doubled what was available on the Baton 2. Just to put that difference into perspective, the original S1R Baton 2 in its lowest light level had an 8-day battery life, which sounds pretty good. This one has a 20-day battery life. If you then include the charging case, you've now got a 94-day battery life in moonlight mode with this solution, compared with 8 days for the original S1R Baton 2. In terms of visual differences, the knurling, as you can see here, is different from the original Baton 2 shown here. The clip here has been slightly improved with a little indentation here to help it grip better. The base design is ever so slightly different here, and the profile around the switch is also slightly different. Other than that, the size is exactly the same. Okay, let's have a quick look at the charging case itself. Feels really solid. It has an 18650 battery in here. It has a magnetic lid closure, which works really well, and it has a USB-C port. It comes with a USB-C to USB-A cable for charging the case itself, and the case will be fully charged in around 2.5 hours using a 10-watt charger. And the flashlight itself, when placed in here for charging, will charge in about an hour. The case will charge it 3.7 times according to the information there. And it's interesting to note that the battery in here is 3,500 milliamp hours and the battery in here is 550 milliamp hours. So you'd imagine you get more than 3.7 charges out of it. And I guess the difference is the losses when effectively transferring power from one battery to another. Once the torch is in there, it stays in there. It doesn't come out because it's held in there with the magnet, which is great. And you'll notice we have a green light here. That shows that this flashlight is fully charged. If that was red, it would indicate that the flashlight was charging. There is also an LED here next to the USB-C port. So if I plug in a USB power here, you can see it is showing a red LED to show that this case is charging from flat. It would charge fully in 2.5 hours, and then that light would go green. So the real benefit of having this charging case, which is one of the things that makes the Baton 3 pretty unique, is that you get the size and weight of a very compact flashlight, yet you get the power that would normally be associated with a much larger flashlight. And this combination is a unique feature of the Baton 3. Now, if you own an S1R Baton II, you might wonder whether it will fit in this case and charge, and the answer is yes. There's only one thing it won't do. In this flashlight, you'll notice if I close the lid and then open it again, it switched the flashlight off. So that's a really good safety feature, because if you've got the torch on bright, it will be getting hot, and if it was still running, if you accidentally left it running and put it in here, everything would start to overheat. So with the Baton 3, if you have it on when you put it on charge, it will automatically switch off, but it won't do that if you have a Baton 2. In terms of the user interface on the Baton 2, I think they've nailed that as well. Let me quickly go through the different modes. In terms of light modes, you've got a moonlight mode, or some people call it a firefly mode at half a lumen, and that is super useful, I think. When you bring on that mode, it's really dim, but it allows you to get around in a very dark space whilst not waking up other people or not alerting people to the fact that you're around, which is great. It also means it's got a very long battery life, which I'll go into in a minute. Then you have a low, medium and high mode. Again, very simple to understand. And then you have the turbo mode, the 1200 lumen mode. In addition to that, you also have a strobe mode. You've only got one button for operation, and when you first press that, it comes on in the last mode you had it on. So when I last used this, it was in low. So when I press it once, it will come on in low. Then if you want to switch between low, medium and high, you simply hold down the button. So we've got it in low, medium, high, low, medium, high, low, medium, high, and then when you let go of the button, it stays on. To turn it off, you press it once and it goes off. So I left it off in high, so when I switch it back on, it comes on in high. Now, if you press and hold this button, it brings it on in moonlight mode. Let's see that. So there we have it in half a lumen mode, which is great. So there's a way of bringing it on, guaranteeing it will go into that very low mode. And that's important, because if you want that very low brightness level, because you don't want to wake somebody up in proximity, or you don't want to alert people to the fact you're there, you need to be absolutely sure you can bring it on into that mode without the need to cycle through other modes. If you want to access turbo mode, that is very simple as well. You simply double press the switch. Here we go. And that is on at 1200 lumens. Press again to switch it off. So now you can access moonlight mode instantly, and you can access turbo mode instantly. You can also access strobe mode instantly by a simple triple press. 1, 2, 3, and there we have the strobe. Press it once to switch it off. I know what you're thinking, a single press to bring it on might allow it to be switched on accidentally. Well, there is a lockout mode, and the way to do that is you press and hold until it goes through the moonlight mode and then switches off, and it's now in lockout mode. So if I press, it doesn't matter whether I single press or double press, it's not going to come on. The only way to bring it on is to press and hold until it goes into moonlight mode, and then it's back into normal operation. So yeah, a really good selection of modes, easy to access, easy to remember. Okay, let's now look at battery life. So we'll start with the moonlight mode. I'll just press and hold to bring that on. This is half a lumen. This will last for an unbelievable 20 days. The half a lumen is actually reasonably bright. It would allow you to read something. It would allow you to get about without disturbing others. So that is pretty remarkable, especially when you think if you've got the charging case with you, you can increase that by a factor of 3.7. Then as we move through the different modes, the low brightness setting is 12 lumens, and that will last for 33 hours. So again, a pretty long battery life on a very usable brightness level. Then when you go to medium, which we're on now, the medium setting is 60 lumens, and that will last for 7.5 hours. So pretty much all through the night on a medium setting. if you have it, say, on a night walk, for example. Then when we look at the high setting, press and hold, steps up to high. This is a very usable light level, and that's 300 lumens consistently for 95 minutes. So an hour and a half of very bright illumination with this flashlight. In terms of the strobe, 1, 2, 3, the strobe will last for about 2 hours consistently. So you do need to be a little bit more wary about using the strobe. And then we have the unbelievably bright, for a flashlight of this size, the 1200 lumen setting. 1200 lumens is incredible, really, for a flashlight of this size, particularly with this battery. So you cannot expect a long run time. And like many flashlights with a really high brightness mode, it will get hot super quickly. And in order to protect the battery and the LED and everything else in there, it's going to shut down pretty quickly. So the idea with the 1200 lumens is to give short blasts of a super bright light when you want to see something over a wide area and you just want to get a blast of light in there to see what you want to see and then turn it off again. If you do leave it on that 1200 lumen mode, it will automatically drop down like many flashlights when it starts to get super hot, and it will drop down in about 1.5 minutes to its high brightness setting, which is 300 lumens. So just bear that in mind. It's the same with most flashlights that have a super high brightness mode. It will only allow you to stay on that mode for a limited period of time before stepping down. Okay, let's compare this flashlight with others in an outdoor setting at night. So this view is from my house, from an upstairs window overlooking the garden and then some properties behind the house. So at night, over this sort of distance, you won't pick much up with the medium power mode. This is the high mode. And then this is the 1200 lumen turbo mode. Just want to compare this turbo mode with a couple of other flashlights. This is a Phoenix LD30. This is how it compares with a 1600 lumen flashlight. And then we have the TK16 version 2 running at 3100 lumens. So you can see how that differs. Obviously the Phoenix you would expect to be much brighter. Let's just focus on the Baton 3 in turbo mode. And as you can see, there is a lot of light here from something which is pretty much the size of my thumb. So there's another useful feature on the Baton 3, and that is a small LED in the center of the switch, which tells you the charge status of the battery in the flashlight. And the way to see that is if you turn it on, and you can probably make out there a green LED. That green means that there is over 60% battery life in this flashlight at the moment. If that lamp was to show orange, it would mean there is between 10 and 60% power left. And if it was red, it means it's below 10%. If it's flashing red, it means it's below 5%, so very close to failing. So that is a really useful addition to this flashlight. Another useful feature of this Olight is that it has a magnetic base. This allows it to charge with the magnetic tail cap charger, or in this case with the charging case. And that means this can attach to any magnetic surface. That can make it really useful. For example, it will attach to my filing cabinet, but that could be a beam on the ceiling, or it could be a radiator. So again, another useful feature to have in this flashlight that just adds to the versatility. If I show this alongside some of my other favorite flashlights, you'll get a feel for the scale. This is the Phoenix TK16 version 2, which dwarfs the Olight Baton 3. Also, I've got here a Phoenix LD30, another favourite of mine that goes in my travel EDC kit. And again, you know, big difference in size. This uses an 18650 battery, this uses 21700, and this obviously uses a lot smaller 16340. So the really great thing about this Baton 3 is its size and weight and form factor. it has such a bright light for this particular size and weight, and it makes it really practical and functional, particularly for everyday carry. And a lot of people EDC this flashlight or its previous versions, and you can see why. Super bright light, lots of functionality if you include the turbo and the firefly and the strobe. Very compact, very lightweight, great charging capability here, really useful multi-function clip, can be carried on the belt, deep carry pocket, can be attached to a baseball cap, can be attached to molly webbing, really flexible as far as that goes, and yeah, really super bright. In terms of my current EDC, how does it compare? Well, this is the Rovivon A8X. I carry this every day in my pocket, and as you can see, this one's the size of my little finger. This one is the size of my thumb. This one is very lightweight because it's polycarb and has some additional functionality around different colored lights. It's got a red light, a warm white light, it's got a UV light, and then it's got a nichier kind of warm LED light, and I really do like this, and I carry this every day because it is so lightweight. This is really for emergency lighting that you carry with you at all times. This is a little bit more serious. This Baton 3 is the sort of flashlight you will carry when you think you are going to be needing a flashlight. So for me, I'm probably still going to carry this as my general day-to-day EDC for all those days when I don't think I'm going to need a flashlight, but when I do, I'm glad I've got it. The Baton 3 is probably for people who are more likely to need that flashlight day to day and want something super bright but still compact and lightweight enough. So in terms of pricing, the flashlight on its own is £65 in the UK, including tax. If you want this limited edition finish, then you're talking £10 more. And when you combine it with the charging case, it's £100 in the UK, including tax, and £10 more for this limited edition finish. So not a cheap option, I would say. However, you are getting something that is fully featured and very high quality and should last many years. I should point out that this video is not sponsored by Olight, but they did provide me with this review sample at no cost. And they also provided me with an affiliate link, which I've placed in the description underneath this video, which gives you 10% off anything in the store that is not currently on sale. I've also noticed that Olight offer regular sales at various times of the year with some fairly good discounts, so do look out for that. So my overall view on the Baton 3 is that this is a brilliant flashlight. It is compact and lightweight and therefore perfect for everyday carry. The battery life is really good and the feature set is really good. And if you then add in the extra flexibility you get from the charging case, then you've got an overall package here that is perfect for camping or a bug out bag or for keeping in the car or for keeping around the house. And you just know that when it's sat in here, assuming this case is charged, then the flashlight in there will always be fully charged when you need it. So a great, flexible, practical solution. So there you are, the Baton 3. I hope you found that useful. If you enjoy this sort of content, please consider subscribing to the channel. You could do that here by clicking this link. Hit the notification bell if you want to be made aware as new videos are released. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.